In this video, I'm going to talk about how to proofread and edit your paper. Now, in revision, we look for ways to make our ideas clearer, stronger, and more convincing. And when we revise a paper, we're just looking for making sure our paper makes sense and that it has one central idea. Whereas editing and proofreading a paper, which is the very last step of the writing process, is when you check for grammar, style, usage mistakes. Make a log of all your grammar mistakes so that you can work on your grammar at a grammar website or ask your tutor why you are making a certain grammar mistake. So this is how you can shore up your grammar weaknesses, that you have all the grammar mistakes in your grammar paper, in your paper. And when I grade a student paper, I revise first and then I edit. In other words, I look for overall content first, and then later I check for grammar errors. I grade for essay content first. I ask myself, does this student have a thesis statement? Do his body paragraphs match his thesis? Are all his paragraphs 5 to 7 sentences long? Did he use at least 3 sources? Were his sources reliable? If he used Wikipedia, I have to remember to take off points since Wikipedia is not a reliable source. So after I check for essay content, I then grade for grammar errors like sentence structure, sentence fragments, subject-verb agreement, verb tense consistency, comma usage. So editing is the last thing I do when I grade papers. And so when you write your paper, editing is the last thing that you do when you look over your paper. So what is a good proofreading editing checklist? So we ask ourselves, as we're proofreading our paper, we ask ourselves, does my essay have the correct MLA formatting? Is my paper double-spaced? Does my paper have a heading with my name, teacher name, class name, and date? Do I have a page header on the upper right-hand corner of my paper? Do I have in-text citations? Do I have a works cited page? Do I have a clear title on my paper? Is my works cited page in the same file as my paper? Am I using Microsoft Word? Did I remember to save it as Microsoft Word? Have I made mistakes in punctuation or mechanics? Have I checked my spelling? Did I use spell check on my Microsoft Word? Did I use grammar check on my Microsoft Word? So here are some more grammar questions you can ask yourself for proofreading. Have I used correct punctuation? Commas, dashes, colons, apostrophes. Have I remembered to use quotation marks for all my direct quotes? Now that's really important, because if you don't use quotation marks for your direct quotes, you could get a high Turnitin score and get reported to the Office of Plagiarism. So you must remember to use quotation marks for your direct quotes. So have I separated my quoted material from my own writing by using quotation marks and including an in-text citation? So that is really important. Have I used capitalization correctly? Do my subjects and verbs agree? Do my nouns and pronouns agree? Have I made sure I didn't use any commonly confused words like there, and there? Have I spelled every word correctly? Did I use a dictionary to check my spelling? And last but not least, have I followed correct MLA style, or whatever style your field uses? Here's some more grammar tips on if you want to study how to avoid a sentence fragment, which is an incomplete sentence. You should study the difference between a compound sentence, simple sentence, complex sentence, compound complex sentence. Make sure you avoid using passive voice. Always use active voice for a more dynamic sentence. Make sure you have subject-verb agreement. And a few more tips. Have a friend or family member read over your paper. Read your paper out loud. In the English 101 textbook, it even said that you can read your paper backwards to see if it sounds good. So that about pretty much the end of my lecture on how to proofread and edit your paper. So it's the very, very last thing you do before you hand in your paper is to make sure you have no grammar mistakes, you have no punctuation mistakes, and your paper is as perfect as it can be. Don't worry if you've gone over your paper 39 times, because even Ernest Hemingway went over his paper 39 times for his novel Farewell to Arms. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, especially if you have grammar questions or punctuation questions. So here ends my video on how to proofread and edit a paper.